So cool. What's up? Just give me a minute to tweet this out. Okay, let's go through the propers. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Lincoln Clay. Go PSVR. All right, for sure. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Lincoln Clay. You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the bell icon. The rest will take care of itself. If you are a new subscriber to the channel, welcome aboard. So, I'm just getting out of work, and wow, you know, very interesting weekend to say the least. So I was watching a few, listening to a couple of podcasts, listening to a couple of videos, and it has been a very, don't really have time on the stream. Okay. So fast question. Okay. But I'll keep going until I see your question. Um, so anyway, yeah, there's been a really interesting weekend. Any idea the EU giveaway and the PS5 news? Um, I'm going to try to have that figured out by my anniversary, which is December 17th, because that's the anniversary of the first YouTube video that I put out. So I plan on doing a big giveaway for that. And as far as any PS5 news, I don't really know because I haven't really been going out of my way to try to find PS5 news. If it drops in my lap, then I'll comment on it. But I haven't been going out of my way to find it. Until until we get any kind of news of a reveal or something like that. I don't really think there's going to be too much huge PS5 news. But I'll as far as the PS5 news goes, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Mac, what is up? What is going on? So, couple of days ago, I did a podcast speaking about. Oh, thank you, Saku. I appreciate it. Um, so a couple of days ago, I did a podcast talking about the EA situation, how this game has flopped, and I think a lot of it was self-inflicted by a couple of the EA officials. Um, defending their depiction of the Second World War, which pretty much depicts a woman on the front line in the Second World War, one with a prosthetic arm, amongst other things, a soldier with a katana on his back. And EA's faced a lot of backlash from that, as most of you know, and they've responded to that by using their daughters as examples of why they should be able to depict the Second World War from that point of view, as well as calling gamers uneducated and basically daring the consumer base to not buy the game if they don't like it. And and I think EA got called out on their bluff, so to speak. And this so much to the point that the game had went on sale, and from what I understand, the game is still on sale in certain places. So this is like like a huge dumpster fire for EA, which was self-inflicted. Now I've said it before that um the worst thing I think you can do, when you're trying to make money and have a business, I don't think that's a wise idea to involve political, social, racial, sexual views with your business, because it can have a huge effect on the outcome. Well, I've had enough time with the multiplayer to say that I do like it. Grand operations is my favorite part of the game. I do love I do like the grand operations, but because it's only like a couple of maps, it's starting to, it's starting to feel a little bit repetitive. But I still like the grand operation part of it. The campaign, I haven't really gotten into the campaign yet, and don't know if I will, Mac, because I'm not really interested in the campaign that much. And that's got nothing to do with a woman, um, you know, being depicted in the Second World War. I didn't, for the most part, the first, the Battlefield 1, I didn't even play that campaign. I just didn't. I was more interested in the multiplayer because it was fun. Um, I love how the destructible environment adds a different twist to the game. And and boy, and I will say if you got some good headphones or good sound bar, the audio in this game is phenomenal. The destruction, the planes flying by, is just all, so it's all sounds so authentic. But would I recommend the game for you? Um, Being that I have not played the campaign yet, I can't say that I would recommend it for you based on the campaign. On the multiplayer alone, I can't recommend to pay $60 for the whole game unless you plan on playing the campaign. Um, being that I don't really have any intentions to play the campaign, I'm okay with the $30 that I paid for the game. So I guess maybe my best recommendation to you, Mac, is if you don't want to pay the full $60 for it, you look around and see if the game is on sale, or maybe have a little bit of patience because EA is rubbing they're rubbing people the wrong way. And they might end up having to put this game on sale again more sooner than later, the way this shit's turning out, because I mean this shit is getting more and more crazier by the minute. So so like I said, EA already pissed people off, calling them uneducated and daring them to not buy the game if they don't like it. And it reflected in the sales. So this past weekend, they had a launch party for the game. Don't call me Danny. What is up? EA had a launch party for the game this past weekend, and I guess there was a huge TV screen. I'm looking at it right now. That says hashtag everyone's battlefield, and you know behind and in small letters there are sentences, um, statements, whatever you want to call it, that are pretty much taking shots at detractors of this game. I'm seeing stuff that says stuff like, feminazis are trying to rewrite history, feminism ruins everything, white men, white men, white men, gender 51, so they're definitely taking shots at people who are you know that is, I guess, that is their way to try to combat the backlash that this game is receiving. And I absolutely do not think that is a wise move, because you're taking a shot at the people that you're taking shots at. Some of them are past customers, some of them are potential future customers. And I think it might be a bargain bin purchase, Mac. I think if you were to buy the game for 15, for $30, I don't think it would be a bad move. Don't call me Danny. EA wants Battlefield to be like Madden. You get the same crap every year. Game isn't even done. Yeah, I mean that's another area where you can make a case that not to pay $60 for the game. I guess a couple other things that I'm noticing in the multiplayer is that sometimes I question the hit detection in this game. There's been a number of times where I had to scope right on someone's head, with a sniper rifle, and it didn't register a hit. So, it is what it is. I know every game's not going to be perfect, but you know, um, looking at the big picture, EA already has a bad reputation with everybody. They're already one of the most hated companies in gaming, and not just gaming in general. They're one of the most hated companies. Oh, I hit the enter button accidentally. Ooh, almost screwed that one up. They are one of the most hated companies in gaming. They are one of the most hated companies in general. The reputation precedes them. Microtransactions are their middle name, and so you already had those strikes against you coming into the launch of this game, and then you give a depiction of of an actual of an actual event that is false, and you give your consumer base a response, calling them uneducated and daring them not to buy the game. And again, I said that's just not smart. Because not only do you stifle sales of this current game of this Battlefield, not only do you stifle sales of a Battlefield, you could possibly set the tone for your next upcoming, big release, which is Anthem. And by calling gamers uneducated and daring them not to buy the product, and they're already going to be, raising an eyebrow on whether or not the game is going to have microtransactions or not. I think this smug attitude that EA is taking with their own fan base, jeopardizes the launch of Anthem. I can tell you, as a company, not as a company, but as a minority who have watched huge companies say things that are offensive to minorities without giving it a second thought, and pretty much had this smug attitude, like, to say some really sensitive things and then have this smug attitude, like, shut up and give you money. They end up finding out the hard way what can happen when you underestimate how many of your consumers were minorities. You said you can't wait for Anthem, but you're worried that EA is going to drop the ball. I mean, Mr. Pyle, what is up? And it's ironic that you say that, because I want to try to have this podcast wrapped up within an hour, take a short power nap, and then go to the gym. So I haven't been to the gym in almost, it's been about a week and a half. So I need to get in there today. So I think this attitude that EA is taking, could possibly jeopardize the launch of Anthem. They already, people were already concerned that this game was going to have microtransactions in it, pay to win microtransactions at that. And you had to use the EA stage to reassure people that it wouldn't have a pay to win narrative, that any microtransactions would be cosmetic. But now that Jamal Adams, what's up? Now that you've taken on this cocky ass attitude, there are going to be some people that are not going to buy this game, that were probably interested in this game just on the simple fact that that they basically slapped their user base across the face, and insulted them. And I can give you an example of some companies that probably found out the hard way that is, that you need to watch your mouth if you can, if you plan on staying in business and planning on keeping a lot of you user base. EA will want to do the right thing and let Anthem go without a hitch after its release. I would agree, Arian. They might be in that kind of a situation, but they would have to come out and make a huge announcement that there won't be any hitches in order for people to be, even thinking about coming nowhere near the game, because people were already leery about the game in the first place, the game having microtransactions, and then you go off and say this kind of shit, because let's face it, a good amount of people that would have bought Battlefield, there's a good chance that a lot of those people would have bought Anthem. Now we don't know how many of these people might be interested in buying Anthem now because EA pissed them off. You know, Black Ops 4, Mr. Pyle, they said on stage, no season pass, had season pass. Um, I don't like that Activision lied, but I probably say right now when it comes to microtransactions, Microsoft and Activision are the two worst. The microtransactions in Gears of War 4 is just like absolutely despicable. And so is so are the microtransactions in the Call of Duty games. But I do agree with the quartering with what he said, that even though Black Ops has done some egregious shit, with microtransactions, they have not insulted their user base. They didn't call them uneducated, and they didn't issue them an ultimatum that not to buy the game if they don't like it. So if EA had kept their mouth shut, I don't know if Battlefield 5 would have taken this hard of a fall. But to go back to what I was saying about how you do not insult, customers and then still expect them to give you your money. I can give you an example. The Tommy Hilfiger, the clothing. And I'm telling it like it is. There's no malicious intent, no intent to offend anyone. But from what I saw, Tommy Hilfiger, when I first noticed that clothing, it seemed like a lot of yuppies, a lot of middle and upper class people were wearing that clothing. And then next thing you know, black people was wearing that shit left and right, everything. Tommy Hilfiger jeans, Tommy Hilfiger t-shirts, socks, belts, everything. And then he goes out and says something to the effect that his clothing wasn't meant for black people or some shit like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing. The shit was so long ago. And I'm not going to go up, and I don't feel like doing the research, or something like that. If someone wants to go get some receipts for us, that's fine. I'm not going to go digging. I'm just trying to make a point. And sales of Tommy Hilfiger clothing plummeted. And when that happened, I guess he kind of came out, issued an apology, and said something to the effect that they don't condone racism and that kind of shit. So the man obviously underestimated just how much of his consumer base was minorities. And the thing about middle class and upper class people, they wear a certain type of clothing. And when that type of clothing starts to spill over to the mainstream and lower income people start wearing that shit, then they stop wearing it because they don't want to be affiliated or associated with lower class people. So in my opinion, when minorities started wearing Tommy Hilfiger clothing, the amount of minorities that was purchasing that clothing grew. And the amount of middle and upper class people that were purchasing that clothing went down. And I don't know what's going on, Sick. I don't know if he realized how much of his customer base were minorities, black people in particular, when he went off and said that shit. But when he went off and opened his mouth and black people boycotted his shit and stopped buying it, and those sales, and the sales of his clothing fell right off the fucking cliff, and he had to come out and issue an apology. And I've seen that shit happen on a lot of different levels. I've said it before about how people will come into the hood and open a store in the hood and treat the people in that neighborhood like shit. You know, you know, got, following them everywhere to make sure they ain't going to steal something out of the fucking store. Basically having this attitude like, shut up and give me your money. And then when the neighborhood gets together and boycotts that business and his sales fall right off the fucking chart, then he's got no choice but to move into another neighborhood, or he has to come out and issue an apology. You know, like, like Tommy Hilfiger did. And when you involve social issues with business, you almost, yeah, Spartan guys, I was laughing my fucking ass off at work about Porter Rock's podcast. I was in the comments telling him, man, like, dude, slow down, man. I'm at work laughing my motherfucking ass off, and I can't keep a straight face. And everybody looking at me like I'm crazy and shit, So, but back to what I was saying about when you involve social, politics, sexual, gender, all those kind of issues, when you issue that shit, when you mix that shit with business, you almost force people to pick a side. And as a business, when you go that route, you basically taking a side, and there's going to be some kind of backlash. You're going to lose some type of customers when you involve social, political, racial, sexual issues, and you push an agenda, or you stand on a certain side of the fence. You're going to lose some customers because there's going to be a backlash. Case in point, the shit that's going on with Colin Kaepernick, like, damn near tore the country in half. He took a stand against, police brutality, police, murder at the hands of police, murdering black motorists, killing them in cold blood. And he took a stand against it. The media twisted it and lied and said that he was disrespecting the military. So the media turned mainstream America against Colin Kaepernick. So now you pretty much got mostly black people and other minorities supporting Colin Kaepernick. And then you got mainstream America going against Colin Kaepernick. And then when you have businesses getting involved and taking a side, they're going to lose some customers. And when, in case in point, like Papa John's, they were supposed to be the official pizza of the NFL. And he went off and opened his mouth and pretty much said that the NFL, with Colin Kaepernick and other NFL players taking a knee, is making him lose business. The minute he said that, he was going to lose customers, because by him saying that, he was pretty much saying that he is against the players taking a knee. And for those people who support Colin Kaepernick, that's basically, they pretty much felt like, okay, if you are against Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, then you're okay with the cops killing minorities. Therefore, I'm not going to buy your product anymore. And so sales must have plummeted with Papa John's, because I think by him saying that the players taking the knee is hurting his business. I think what he was trying to do was draw up some business from mainstream America, pretty much telling them, I stand with you, I support you, I'm on your side, support my business. And I don't think it worked out the way he planned. And then he ended up issuing apology. And then on the flip side of that, you have fans forcing the hands of the NFL, basically telling the NFL if they don't do something about these disrespectful players taking a knee, disrespecting the military, which we know that's not the case. You don't do something about that, we're going to boycott these games. And then you have police forces across the country threatening not to be security at these games if they don't do something about players taking a knee. So they forced the NFL's hands, and basically, like, it was like a situation where they were telling the NFL that, okay, if you're going to let this guy take a knee and you don't do anything about it, you're basically okay with him taking the disrespecting the military. Therefore, I'm not going to support your product. And when EA did this same shit and involved their political, their political social beliefs and all that shit, and put this in the game, you were basically on once. Exactly, that's the moral of the story, JP Loco. When they jumped on one side of the fence, by them involving their political issues and social issues, they basically took a side and basically told the people that's putting money in their pocket that if you're not down with our side, don't buy the game. If you don't like it, don't buy it. So they mixed the political beliefs, the social beliefs, with business, and they paid the price for it. And to take a quote from Colin Cowherd, especially when it comes to two people, they're on opposite sides of the fence and business is involved. Colin Cowherd said, you never, ever back the bigger entity into a corner. And when he was talking about that, he was referring to the Jemiah Dixon, what's up? When he was talking about that, he was referring to the lockout, the NHL lockout that they had, I think like 7-8 years ago, when the players were threatening to go on strike against the owners, but the owners beat them to the punch and locked them out. And when the owners locked them out, eventually they won out. And then the players ended up, not only did they give into the not only did they had to relinquish their own demands, they ended up giving into the owner's demand. So they literally jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire, trying to go toe to toe with the owners. And the NHL is not like Major League Baseball, because in Major League Baseball, they pretty much, the way they define Major League Baseball is that the inmates run the asylum. The owners don't want to tangle with the players because their union is strong. And they won't hesitate to go on strike to get what they want. They already demonstrated it by that year that we didn't have the World Series. With the NHL, their union isn't as strong as Major League Baseball's, and they tried to go toe to toe with the owners and they lost. Same thing here. EA may be a big company, but as a whole, us consumers are the bigger entity. And if they try to go toe to toe with us and we stick together, they will lose because we are the bigger entity. EA is finding that out right now. Sick humor. EA and Dice had a launch party for Battlefield 5 over the weekend, and on a huge TV screen, they showed, hashtag everyone's Battlefield in big letters, but in small letters littered all over the screen were with statements, snippets, and shit like that from the backlash of this game. Some stuff says shit like feminazis are trying to rewrite history. Feminism ruins everything. Gender 51, white man, white man, white man. He was just saying shit like that. And I mean, that's not good if you trying to sell this shit, um, to your customer base. And if you want me to get racial on it, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the people who bought, who were, past customers of the Battlefield franchise, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of them were white. And then you're going to target them directly and, say white man, white man, white man. Yeah. Yeah, JP Loco. They said that. I mean, I can find it and share my screen. You saw it's either Nazis or feminazis. I didn't see anything wrong with what EA did. From a moral standpoint, sick, they can do whatever they want. But from a business standpoint, see, all this stuff was directed, all this stuff sick was directed at the people who lashed out at a woman being on the game and Patrick Soderlund calling them uneducated. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. So all that shit that was printed on the screen was directed at the detractors of this game. So it's like still taking a shot at, at people who are lashing out at this game. That was, them EA taking another shot at them. So they are, they can do what they want. But from a business perspective, I don't think that was smart. Not, and now you got a situation where they could have, jeopardized the launch of Anthem. This is, because of what they've done, going out of their way to antagonize and pissing off people who were, possible consumers. So EA did something wrong by creating a game and not accepting people talking shit. One year Tudor, what's up? Um, I can't. This is what I'm saying, sick. I don't think it was smart to call people uneducated and basically telling them if they don't like it, don't buy the game, and then still think you're going to sell a shitload of copies. So I think there's a difference between doing something wrong and doing something that's not smart. Whether EA did something wrong by by pushing back at the people who are lashing out at the game, did EA do something wrong? That's all in the eyes of the beholder. But from a business standpoint, it looks like, they're paying a price for it. When it comes to and God knows you got to know this sick when it like if it when it comes to this, like, okay, like for instance the civil rights movements, you take a stand against what you feel is injustices, or what is injustice, there's going to be casualties. Here, same thing with EA. They had an agenda. They pushed it. It didn't fly well with people, and now they've suffered a financial casualty. So calling people uneducated and telling them don't buy the game if you don't like it, I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong, but I am going to say that it wasn't smart. You said, lucky, I don't care about Battlefield, but that's one less game for gamers. And that's the sad part about it, sick. Aside from a couple of aside from maybe a hiccup or two, I do like the multiplayer. And because of what's going on with this game, you're right, sick. Niggas boycott and back the wrong shit all the time. But the point is, they will boycott. Not just niggas, people in general. They boycott. Basically, people boycotted this game. And now EA, as far as sales of this game goes, they are taking it on the chin. So I'm hoping that EA was prepared for this when they thought they was going to roll this game out to people. And it's obvious they were pushing the female agenda, because when you play the game on multiplayer, at least with the sniper class, by default you are a woman by default, and you have to go into the settings to change it if you want to switch it to a male. And then with the sniper rifle on the scope, it auto locks. It auto locks on people. So there's been a couple of times where I was aiming at a specific target, but the scope locked on to something that I was not shooting at. So I had to go out of the scope and then go back into the scope to go after the target that I had on, in my crosshairs in the first place. So it was obvious that EA was trying to attract female gamers. Now, whether they were doing it to try to generate revenue because they thought this game was established and thought men was just going to look right past this, whether they did it for revenue is, that could be one reason, or maybe they were trying to appease social justice warriors. But one thing was for certain is they would definitely try to push a female agenda and trying to attract female gamers. So, but because of the false depiction of history, as well as calling people uneducated for speaking out against it, I hope they were prepared for the financial hit they were going to take. So, well, Mr. Pyle, I highly doubt that the SJWs are going to compensate EA for the millions of dollars in sales that they lost for the launch of this game. And I'm hearing that the stocks are plummeting. There's a guy I watch called The Quartering, and I really don't know shit about stocks, but he said, back in July of 2018, I guess the stocks peaked at like $150 a share or something like that, and now they're down to like $84 a share or some shit like that. So they've been taking a hit. People are selling their shares, and jumping off that ship. Well, they are paying the price for it in more ways than one. So y'all putting your y'all putting on yourself supporting this nonsense. I haven't taken either side, sick. I'm just saying I don't think it was that smart to insult consumers. and to basically issue them an ultimatum that if you don't like it, don't buy it. You think you're going to say something like that and then see yourself getting 718 million over 3 days for this game? No, it wasn't going to happen. I agree with you, Wanye. I said it on my last podcast. They inserted a fictional event into a factual event, and it didn't go well. It didn't go over well with people. Well, there ain't no question about it, sick that after Anthem, um, who knows what kind of games we might get out of EA. Other than a normal FIFA and Madden that looks the same and plays the same every year, save for a couple of features. Anything beyond that, we don't know if we're gonna get some watered down shit or not. So, but as far as that goes, I'm not gonna say to gamers that we should have we should have supported this game so we don't get bullshit in the future. But at the same time, I still don't think it was. Smart of EA to insult. To insult the potential customers. You say you hope Microsoft buys them and give y'all hella AA games with microtransaction. Is it a good game though? Again, sick. I haven't played the campaign, so I'm not in the position to judge the campaign. But based on the multiplayer, I do like the multiplayer, and based on the multiplayer, I'm satisfied that I paid $30 for the game because I caught it on sale. So the multiplayer, I think the multiplayer is good. The only issue I got with the multiplayer as of right now is that every now and then hit detection comes into question. So, don't call me Danny. I'll think about buying it when it's complete. That's the question though. Because of the terrible launch that this game is having, and if sales don't pick up for this game, who's to say that they'll finish it? Who's to say that they'll, put out updates or add content, DLC, what have you? Who's to say that they'll do it? Because I think for the most part right now, if EA were to add any content to Star Wars Battlefront 2, I would be shocked. I don't think anything is wrong with the game. People just in their feelings like they ain't done for real. No, I don't disagree with that because I said it before. I don't have any personal feelings towards the narrative of this game. Uh I have no interest in playing the campaign, and that's got nothing to do with the narrative that EA was trying to push. I'm not interested in playing the campaign because I'm more interested in playing the multiplayer. And it was the same way for Battlefield 1. I never played the campaign on Battlefield 1. I only played the multiplayer because I just love all that chaos that's going on in the multiplayer. Planes, tanks, shit being destroyed, it's and the audio for that game is incredible. Everything just sounds so authentic. Buildings being destroyed. The shit is just like loud. And it's been a couple of times where where it jolted me a couple of times where shit was quiet and it was like boom, and the shit was just crazy. So I definitely like the same people who bought COD mad about the campaign in Battlefield 5. Yeah, that's funny. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's where I stand. Um, I don't have an opinion of whether EA was right or wrong for the narrative that they pushed of this game, as far as the campaign goes. I just don't think it was smart for them to try to go toe to toe with customers. And so that's where I stand on that. And so let's move on to the other subject. Wow, what a crazy weekend this has been with people beefing everywhere on YouTube. Um, since I pretty much stand neutral on all this shit, I don't have a problem, uh, naming some of the people that's beefing, and a lot of it, J Tech, his name is in the middle of a lot of this shit. He beefing with Porter Rock, beefing with Ryan, beefing with, Titanfall Princess. Um, Ryan had a podcast, solo podcast where he was going in on J Tech. Titanfall Princess had a podcast where she was going in on him. Ryan was a guest on that one. Porter Rock had a podcast today where he was just straight going on. He was straight going in on J Tech. And then you had, Hard Eight and his boys had Ryan and J Tech, on the podcast and let them go toe to toe. And I really don't have an opinion. I'll put it this way. For the most part, my opinions are pretty much stated myself on that. So I'm not giving an opinion on that. And I will say that when it comes to this, when it comes to beef and people going back and forth on YouTube, when two people beefing, whether it's over the internet, whether it's real life, there's always two sides to every story. So I couldn't go listen to one side without listening to the other. That's just in all fairness. So take Ryan, for example, when he was going in on J Tech, whatever his reasons were for going in on J Tech, I'm not gonna just automatically say, Ryan's right or I side with him or something like that. Because I'm in, because I'm neutral on that. But in all fairness, I did go listen to a couple of J Tech's videos to get his take on it. And it's still, it's still neutral. Mr. Pyle, nobody probably cares. Royal Flush, Crumb side is for entertainment. Don't take it too seriously. Yeah, I get you. But that throwdown between J Tech and Ryan, I don't know how much of that was entertainment. I don't know how much of that was for for viewers, because you know what I mean? You already know. Do what you do. You stopped finding it entertaining a long time ago. Um, Even if it was entertainment, I'm still neutral on it because sometimes entertainment can evolve into a real beef. And then some real shit gets said. You know what I mean? So that's just one of those things where, did I watch podcasts and stuff like that? Yeah, I did. pretty much listen to everybody's podcast that's involved in this stuff. But I still remain neutral on it, you know. And even if I was willing to talk about it, it would be behind closed doors with people that I really trust because um with these debates and beefs and stuff like that, sometimes if you give an opinion on who you think was right or who you think was wrong or who you think won or who you think lost, sometimes that can be perceived as you taking a side instead of, giving your honest opinion of your assessment of the situation. And therefore, I have no opinion on it. You know, if any of this stuff was whatever part of this stuff was for entertainment purposes, cool. It is what it is. It's entertainment. Hope everybody, was entertained by it. But if any of that beef was serious, um, I hope it don't, I hope it don't escalate any further than what it did. Clay, what are you doing today at the gym? I am going to hit chest and triceps today at the gym. So Monday's usually chest day for me. As far as that goes, I'm probably going to end the stream here pretty soon because I need to get a power nap in before I go to the gym. I was gonna dive in a little bit deeper and into some of the shit that had been going on this past weekend with these beefs, debates, fights, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just gonna leave it at that and just say, that I'm pretty much neutral on this stuff. Um, what my opinion of it is irrelevant. It's just, I'm neutral on it. That's where I stand on it. So, but nonetheless, there was a lot of fireworks this weekend. So, with that being said, since it was suggested that I talk video games, let me quick shoot over to N4G and see what they got over there. See if there's something quick to talk about before I go. Huh. You see here. Here's one headline: Batman Court of Owl game teased by Warner Brothers Montreal. Oh my God. Fallout 76 cheap nylon bag costs around 65 cents in wholesale. Holy shit. Oh, shit. Oh shit. Did Bethesda pry people ass cheeks open and insert a hot one in there? Oh shit. that bag cost Bethesda 65 cents. Oh, impatient fire. What is up? Dice and EA deserve all the shit they're getting. Yes, sick that they gave influencers the real bag. I heard about that. And my guess is influencers probably referring to huge YouTubers and probably the media. To make sure they, give Fallout 76 the big thumbs up. And Royal Flush, how much you thought it was? I see through literally. I mean, I knew the fuckery was there because it looked like exactly how Young here described it. He described it as a glorified trash bag, and that's exactly what the shit looked like. Holy shit. You driving home in patient fire? Hey, drive safe, man. Be careful, man, because I don't know where you at, but I know here in Grand Rapids we got a lot of idiot drivers out there, so be careful, bro. Well, I probably figured that the bag that people were supposed to get, this canvas bag, to me it looked like it was probably worth about 40 bucks, 50 bucks maybe. But the shit that they actually got looked like it was worth 10, 15 bucks to me. And then I said it on Twitter that Bethesda tried to use Yong Ye for damage control because they sent him a care package for no reason. And it was that package. It had the helmet, the poster, the figurines, and I think they gave him that cheap ass bag too. But he didn't buy anything. They just gave it to him. So my guess was that being that they kept that game off of Steam because of Steam's return policy, because they know they would have had to give a lot of people their money back. They knew this game, they knew they was putting in the fuckery, and they knew there was going to be a huge backlash on this shit. So to me, they was giving influencers, the canvas bag, so they could damage control the shit for him. That didn't stop Young Ye from going in on the ass because he went the fuck off. So yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was some real fuckery right there. I can say this much though, and then Bethesda was talking about using this same engine for Elder Scrolls 6. They can forget about that. That game is DOA. Um Cyber Dragon, you said individuals paid $200. Lawsuit might be on the way. There was a discussion being put together. Yeah, I'm aware of that. There's a law firm that pretty much jumped on Reddit and pretty much trying to get people to come forward so they can try to get a class action suit going on. But I guess this is a small law firm, so it's obvious they looking for a payday. There's just some opportunistic people looking to try to get paid. But I do hope I hope they do make Bethesda fix this problem and give people the shit that they were supposed to get. But honestly, I almost don't know what to say is going to come out of this, because I really think that when all is said and done, after I still think Bethesda is not going to replace those bags. People in Bethesda is not going to give people their money back on that game because they put in a real fuckery policy that once you download the game, you pretty much waive your right to a refund, and that's one of the reasons why the game wasn't on Steam. Perhaps that was pretty much the biggest reason why it wasn't on Steam. Bethesda getting what they deserve, but hey, I agree with what Six said. At one point, that they knew the man told you the game was fucked up. So why would you buy a game when the people who made the game told you it's fucked up? He said every company that has close ties with Microsoft are getting toasted. JP Loco, I agree. Bethesda will get a slap on the wrist, and that's going to be it. But they will face a bigger consequence when it's time to roll out the next game because people are not going to buy it. Because I understand that they had a history of releasing broken games, and then they took this shit to a whole new level, releasing a fucked up game like that, and then fucking people over like that with the refunds and the in this collector's edition that they paid for. So this move here, I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering if when it's time to launch the next game and nobody buys it, Well, that put Bethesda in a little bit of a financial crunch, and then they have to go knock it on Microsoft's door and ask Microsoft to buy them. And ask Microsoft to pick them up. That's it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Skyfall Gaming. I heard that Microsoft is going to be buying more studios in 2019, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Until they pick up a quality studio with a track record of putting out quality game after quality games, and somebody that's not on the verge of bankruptcy or somebody that haven't made shit in a couple of years, then I'll take a look at that when it happens. So yeah, it'll be interesting how that plays out. So let me take a look and see if there's any other headlines I can touch on before I get ready to go. Ooh, 2 hours ago, PSN down and services are experiencing issues. Huh. Well, it happens to both Microsoft and Sony. It happens from time to time. Amazon discounts Marvel Spider-Man to under $40. And the thing I forgot to touch on, Red Dead Online is designed to reward a small amount of money for a lot of hard work. That was the one thing that I forgot to touch on. Captain Thug Nasty, what's up? You said uncompetitive, likely to get a Death Stranding trailer with a June 30th, 2019 release date at the Game Awards on December 7th, 2018. All right. You said Sony had their PlayStation Awards show early this morning. All right, I have to look into that and see how it played out. So yeah, I definitely forgot to touch on this Red Dead shit. As everybody knows, on Red Dead 2 Online, when you kill somebody and go loot the body, you'll be lucky if they have more than 25 cents on them. Then I played Red Dead Online a couple of days ago. I only got as far as once the woman handed me a picture of 5 people that she wanted me to go find. And then when I went into town, it started turning into a fucking fetch quest, because once I got in town, went to go to the post office to talk to somebody there, he was like, I could probably help you, but I need you to go take care of these people, blah, blah, blah. So I go out there in the woods and kill all these people that he's talking about, and I loot all the bodies. I looted about 4 bodies and came up with a total of 27 cents. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the kind of money they had back then. But the fucked up part was when we did the roundtable podcast this past weekend, I think somebody in the podcast was talking about how a shotgun was $500 on the fucking game. So the tone is set. The shark cards are on the way. The fuckery is coming. And even though I have not given this game a fair chance, I'm already starting to have that buyer's remorse feeling. And that's why I bought the physical copy, because I'm not feeling like I'm going to play this campaign and in an online mode that's designed for you to break down and buy shark cards and shit like that. Just not going to fly with me. Where you got to grind for 8 months to, buy a horse or to buy a gun or something like that. No, I ain't trying to fuck with no shit like that. Fuck that. So I'm having this funny feeling that I'm going to end up putting my copy of Red Dead on Craigslist. So, but I will say, before I get rid of it, I will play it one more time, because I do have the PlayStation Gold headphones and the headset companion app was updated, and Red Dead was one of the games that was specifically tuned for these headphones. So the game will sound amazing because those PlayStation 2, those PlayStation Gold headphones are incredible. And that's not even the top of the line headphones. The PlayStation Platinums are the top of the line headphones. They sound amazing. They're amplified headphones. And when games are specifically tuned for those headphones, the sound is incredible. You know, third-party developers are really starting to piss me off as of late. Yeah, call it corporate slavery if you want, but you gotta admit, over the past couple of years, you haven't heard anything about any PlayStation exclusives being incomplete. You haven't really heard of any PlayStation exclusives being super buggy. You haven't really heard of PlayStation exclusives having egregious microtransactions. You haven't really heard of any PlayStation exclusives having a pay to win narrative. So directly calling them out, I think people like Microsoft, Activision, EA, I I think I think they are what's wrong with gaming. And I don't know if it wasn't for Sony putting out the compelling exclusives that they do, gaming might be all the way fucked up. You said if you want to get on Red Dead 2, I'm down. If not, I'm straight. Um, yeah, sick. If I can get in and get my workout in and come back at a decent hour, yeah, I definitely want to jump on Red Dead Online so I can give it a fair chance, so I can play with my friends. Entertainment Wizard, what's up? Um, just and go from there. So yeah, if I get back at a decent hour, I definitely want to give it a shot. So I see your comment uncompetitive about the PlayStation Classic. That seemed to have been the hot news lately. People giving their opinions on PlayStation Classic. Dreamcast guys saying don't buy it. So I never had any plans to buy it. So I really don't have a comment on what he thinks of it. Entertainment Wizard, not much. Wanted to fire up my new PSVR, but got a cold. Going to hold off for a few days. You said, Mac, you got to get through the intro, but you down. Okay, cool. You picked up mine today. Don't care what people said. Hey, if anybody likes the game, I definitely ain't gonna knock them for that. Me, I have not called the game trash. I'm just saying that I'm having a hard time getting into it, and I'm just not sure if I'm gonna put in the time. But I think being able to play with some friends online will help me determine whether I will like it or not. Yeah, I agree. Why would anybody listen to Dreamcast guy? I mean, it's just like you said, sick. When you talking about people that's got 100,000 subscribers and shit like that, and it comes to reviewing games, you can't take these dudes at their words because you don't know if they saying shit to get views. You don't know if they've been given a code by that developer, so they sugarcoating some of the things they might be saying. You don't know any of that shit. So, I mean, can anybody tell me any YouTuber who got a copy of a game, got a digital code of a game from a developer, and just called it straight up trash? Any big YouTuber who gets a digital code from the developer for a game, They don't call the game trash. They just say this is a couple of things that I'd like to see them work on, or this was my only issue with the game. They don't call it trash. They pussyfoot around it. So yeah, you can, you can't put a lot of stock in the, huge YouTubers giving reviews. Oh yeah, definitely. Dreamcast guy is cool with. He's definitely cool with Spawnway because I seen him in a podcast with Spawnway before. Royal Flush. Don't invest what someone else might think about the products on the market. It might not be for them, but it might be for you. Do what you do. Damn. Your channel isn't monetized uncompetitive. Neither is mine. I don't meet the you know, I don't meet the parameters to get my channel modified. I don't have enough subs and I don't have enough hours watched. But even if I did meet those parameters, I think the only way that I would monetize my videos is if it was a situation where a lot of people were asking me, "Hey, can you try this game and stream it? Can you try that game and stream it?" I wouldn't be in a position to keep buying games and keep trying them out. So in that situation, maybe I would monetize it just to get enough money to buy the games so I can try them out. But if that wasn't the case, then no, I don't feel like I would monetize my videos. Damn, my phone's still cooking. Let me see what they're talking about. All right. Well, I think I'm out of shit to talk about. You said Dreamcast guy looks like he's related to Edward James almost. Yeah. You said you don't even know the conditions to be monetized, Real Flush. I do know that as far as like the super chat goes, you got to have 1,000 subscribers, and I think you got to have like 4,000 hours watched, content watched. Cyber Dragon, you said Young, yeah, got a copy of Spider-Man, got a free copy of Spider-Man, played it, did a review, then turned around and blast Sony about crossplay. See, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have blast Sony. I'm not saying that he did some shiesty shit by getting a free copy of the game and then turning around and blasting Sony about the crossplay, because he got that care package from Bethesda and still turned around and ate him up in his next video. That's whatever. I'm on board with what Six said. People like him speak out against microtransactions and then turn around and ask people to donate to his Patreon. So that's a very slippery slope. And I think people who are monetizing their channels and asking for money, I don't know if they're in a position to be, chastising or bad mouthing a company for implementing microtransactions. If you want to bad mouth them for implementing pay to win microtransactions, okay, cool. But I don't know if they're in a position to to criticize this company, for microtransactions altogether. I don't know if they're in a position to say that, if they're going to be monetizing their videos, especially when you got like these bigger YouTubers that have these different tiers of Patreon and shit like that, where the more you pay, the more exclusive content that you have access to. So people like them definitely don't have a place to speak up about microtransactions. And prime example of people like Clean Prince Gaming. I don't know how the fuck this dude got as many subscribers as he do, because I think his shit is boring and lame with these essays and shit like that. And And to me, all the shit that he say about these games and and giving these so-called essays and shit like that, to me, it almost sounds like he talking just to hear himself talk. And then I guess he wants to take his shit to the next level. So he's talking about all these different tiers that he's going to be putting in his Patreon and shit like that. And those who are in the top tier will have access, to this and that and all this kind of shit. And nah, get out of here, man. Now I don't know about this, Royal. You might want to ask Sick, or um you might want to ask somebody whose videos are monetized. But I think if your videos are monetized, you have to watch what you're saying, because if your videos are monetized, especially if you're allowing advertisements in your videos, I believe you definitely have to watch what you say. So that's another reason why I probably wouldn't want to be monetized, because you know you people know how I feel about Microsoft, you know how I feel about EA, you know how I feel about Activision, and when they pull some bullshit, I ain't gonna hesitate to go in on them. So, but with that being said, damn, it's 6:45. At this point, if I don't get my ass to the gym in about another hour, I'm probably just gonna have to put it off until tomorrow and just make sure it's done before we go to the PlayStation, before we go to the Roundtable podcast. Y'all make sure you tune into the Roundtable podcast. Make sure you sub to it, because if y'all don't, I'm gonna get back to threatening motherfuckers again and start threatening to choke motherfuckers who don't subscribe to the channel and don't give it a like. Hey, but Royal and Sick, if y'all want to go ahead and do a podcast, go ahead, man. Because I'm gonna shut it down here shortly. And if I don't go to the gym, then if Mr. Pyle, if I don't go to the gym today, I'll definitely do it tomorrow, because I haven't had a chance to get a nap in. That's the whole problem with this thing. Because at my age, I got to get my nap in. So if I don't go to the gym today, I will definitely go tomorrow. But what I will do is, if I don't go to the gym tomorrow, if I don't go to the gym today, I will definitely play Creed or play Saber, Beat Saber, so I can get my cardio in. Because one way or the other, I'm gonna get some kind of workout in, whether I play Creed or whether I actually go to the gym. That's the whole thing. On the days that I don't go to the gym, I play Creed or play Beat Saber to still get my cardio in. So it's not like I'm just sitting around doing nothing. So, Spartan guy, one of me and Sick gonna play Firewall again. I'd love to, but you wanna know truth? You wanna know the truth? There's so many games out there to play that it's almost like the moons have to be in proper alignment for everybody to get together on a game. Like that one time Craig and I played Madden a couple of months ago. We talked about doing it again, but hey, shit ain't been in proper alignment for us to do it again. During the World Series, Porter Rock and I was supposed to play a game of MLB The Show, where we were using the teams involved in the World Series. It would never happen, But hey, the desire is there. I'd love to hook up with Sick again to do Firewall again, because that one day we played, and I think we did that 5-hour stream or something like that. Shit, I think I got about 500 views on that. So sleep in the gym, JP Loco. LA, you say you like the Firewall streams. One of the reasons why I haven't been doing Firewall streams is because that community has kind of set some unwritten rules and shit like that people get pissy when they hear distractive noises in the background, hear dogs barking and shit like that, or people conducting streams when they feel like you should be communicating with your teammates and that kind of shit. So some people have been getting kind of pissy about that shit. So if I do another Firewall stream, if I'm not with my friends, I might be a little bit selective about what questions I'll answer during the stream. But yeah, I'll definitely do it again. I'll definitely do a Firewall stream again. And that's the other thing too. I was starting to do that shit a little too regular, and it was starting to get a little too I think it was probably starting to get a little bit stale. Same thing with the GT Sport streams. I think they were starting to get a little bit stale, so it was time for me to change the pace. Fuck with Beat Saber, uh, Tetris, amongst other things. The gym is family, as Vin Diesel would say, without a doubt. So that ain't to say that I won't go to the gym. What I'm saying is I want to hurry up, get this power nap in, and try to get up, get in, and get out. And then if I get back in a decent hour, then yeah, I'll try to see if I can hook up with Sick or somebody and see if they want to play something. You said play that mofo at Rhino and Creed. Yeah, that's who I usually use when that's who I normally use when I would fight online. But I think Victor Drago is my new dude. Y'all should have checked out my latest stream yesterday because I was using Victor Drago doing my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. You come into the ring against Victor Drago, I break your fucking head. I bend your head like a piece of iron. I think I would do a really good Arnold when I know what I'm going to say, but when I'm talking off the top of my head, sometimes it's not that good. But yeah, go back and check out my latest stream of Creed. I did that stream yesterday, and I was talking some crazy ass, I was talking some crazy ass Victor Drago, putting at Mr. Stallone, telling him if you want to, you could come out of retirement and come into the ring and get your ass whipped. Oh shit. Hey, but you guys know the deal. I'm getting ready to hang it up here. You know the drill. Give it a like, lock the door on your way out. And I want to thank everyone for coming to the Wakandan seminar. I will holler at y'all later. Y'all take it easy. Get to the chopper. No, my best one is from the original Terminator when he came into that police station and said, "I'm a friend of Sarah Connor. I was told that she was here. Can I see her, please?" I'll catch y'all later, y'all. Y'all be easy. In the words of Ryan, the professional. I'll catch y'all later.